everyone feeling? I'm so sore. Okay, so today's class we're gonna move really slow and in a restorative manner. Hey Derek. So I am gonna get you to go on a mini scavenger hunt before we start again today, and grab pillows, at least 2 pillows, and a blanket or a towel. And if you have all the like traditional yoga props, that's great. Otherwise, we can substitute with pillows and a towel / blanket. Hey Penny. And then Penny, we're just gonna grab a couple pillows and either a towel or a blanket. Okay. Yeah, just a couple props. Yes, Michael, nice. That's what I use too, bedroom pillows that I sleep with. It's the best. Okay, and let's start in a child's pose. So make your way there. Gonna bring your big toes together to touch. Your knees can come a little bit wider than your hips. And then just sink your hips back to your heels and bow your heart down. And hopefully your forehead can rest down onto something. If it can't, then take one of your pillows and bring it underneath your face so that your head can actually rest down onto something kind of solid. Breathe into the back of your body. You can start to feel your shoulder blades like melt down on your back. Maybe give your head a little roll from side to side. Just moving that pressure like across your forehead. And then really focus on sending the breath into the back of your body as much as you can. So you can feel the space in between each rib expand as you breathe in and relax as you breathe out. Okay, from here, start to walk your palms back towards your knees. You're just coming to sit up for a moment. And then take one of your pillows, and you're gonna just kind of wedge your pillow kind of in between your thighs and in between your inner thighs. You might have to take your knees a little bit wider. And then kind of note here, is this high enough to provide some real support for my body? You might have to prop your pillow up a little bit. You can slide another pillow underneath. You could use that blanket, that towel to provide a little bit more height, bringing the pillow up to you. And then recline back down and just turn one side of your face down onto the pillow. And it can feel really nice, like if you really nestle that pillow like close to your pelvis, you'll start to feel some support even through your belly, which feels really good. And we'll be here for a couple of minutes. So, the longer you are in this restorative posture, your body will start to kind of melt into the support, and you can just allow that to happen. Make tiny adjustments as you go. You might eventually walk your elbows out a little wider as your body sinks into the ground. And then from here, if it's comfortable on your neck, you might choose to turn to the opposite cheek. Allow the opposite cheek to rest down. one big breath in, kind of fill your lungs. And sigh, let it out. And then start to come out. So just pressing yourself up, and move your props out of the way for now, just setting them off to the side. And come up onto your hands and knees, find a tabletop position. We'll move through a few rounds of cat and cow, just very slowly. So as you move, kind of finding all those in-between moments as you make your way to your cow. And then as you push your palms into the mat, slowly round through your spine. Eventually kind of rounding through your upper back, letting the crown of your head drop down, feeling an opening across the shoulder blades on your back. And continue to move like this, inhaling, slowly finding a cow position, opening up across the chest, across the collarbones, maybe gazing up, at least in front of you, maybe even up toward the ceiling a little bit. And again, exhaling and rounding through the upper back. So take yourself through a few more rounds of cat and cow. And it doesn't have to be linear, so you don't have to move directly from cow back to cat and so on. You can, if you would like, bend your elbows a little bit, kind of roll out through the shoulders. You can take your whole entire torso and kind of move through a barrel roll if you'd like to move kind of side to side rather than front to back. So just moving in kind of any way that feels good. You can even walk your hands out in front of your shoulders. Find a moment of kind of bowing down. So we'll just be here for another 3 to 5 breaths, kind of moving in any way that feels good. Okay, when you're all done, keep your palms where they are, and then start to walk your knees back. Start to walk your knees back, keeping your hips stacked over top of your knees until you reach a point where it feels like enough. And then bow your heart down. So coming into heart melting pose. And same thing here, maybe your forehead can come down. And that's great, maybe not. And that's okay too. Continue to lift your elbows away from the mat here. Good. Okay, just one more breath. Take an inhale to come up, find a tabletop once again, so walk your knees back a little bit closer to your palms. From here, extend your right foot to the back of your mat, let the toes come down. And then just press into your palms to kind of send that right heel back, as if the right heel was going to touch the ground behind you. And keep your neck nice and neutral here. Don't let it sag, so try not to look at your toes. Instead, look in front of your fingertips. Your neck is an extension of your spine here. Breathing deep. Good. For a little bit more balance, we're going to just kickstand the left toes out to the side. So the left toes, just scoot them off to the side like a kickstand of a bike. Swivel the right heel down onto your mat and then peel the right fingertips high. So just start to peel up. This is like a variation of a side plank. So you're stacking the shoulders, starting to tip the heart up a little bit. Maybe the gaze lifts up. And then you can choose to stay here, or you could drop the right hand down and then sweep it forward and overhead. Sweep it forward and overhead. Here, the pinky finger can kind of rotate down. The thumb will start to point up to the ceiling, and then same thing, you can just kind of continue to roll the chest open, gaze up. Breathing here. Okay, just one more inhale here. And then exhale, gaze down, plant both of your palms. Bring your knees back underneath the hips. Little sway through the hips, maybe a one round of cat and cow here. Moving into the opposite side, extend your left toes to the back of your mat. And same thing here, just pressing that heel back. As you press that heel back, continue to press the entire length of the left leg up. Moving into the opposite side, finding that side plank variation. So starting just by kicking the right toes out to the side, more stability, more balance. Swiveling the left heel down, and then right away starting to peel the left hand up, maybe gaze up. So same thing here, staying here, or swinging that left hand down to the ground and then reaching it overhead. Good. One more breath. Breathe in. Exhale, gaze down, plant your palms, bring your knees back underneath your hips. Again, one or two rounds of cat and cow here. And then find child's pose once again. Big toes together, sink your hips back to your heels, bow your heart down. And just relax, let the elbows come down. If you want a little bit more of a rounding sensation through the back, you'll bring your knees together to touch so your inner thighs are touching. And that'll provide like a platform for your upper back to round down. If you want more of a flat back, more of a lengthening sensation, that's when you'll separate your knees. Okay, come back up to a tabletop here. Use an inhalation to make your way to a tabletop. And then from here, just step your left foot in between your palms at the top of your mat. So step your left foot in between your palms and make your way into a low lunge. So just lifting your fingertips high to start. Okay, and then take an inhalation and open up your hands to either side. Become really broad across the span of your arms. And then exhale, weave the left arm underneath the right. Give yourself a hug to start. Lift the elbows so that they're in line with the shoulders. Start there. If you can go on, then you're just lifting the backs of the arms together to touch. Okay, and same thing here. Elbows should be in line with the shoulders, and then try to resist allowing your thumbs to rest on your forehead. So press your hands away from your forehead. And then if you can go on still, you're just finding that full wrap. Now your palms are touching. Okay. And again, your choice to kind of stay here and hang out, or you can start to just move your elbows around a little bit as you see fit. So you might tip your heart up and then kind of draw your elbows down towards your navel, or you could draw a circle with your elbows. Just anything you need. Okay, coming out, unhook your arms, take a big breath in to open up really wide, breathe in. Good, and then exhale, take both of your hands, plant them to the inside of the left foot. Heel toe that left foot out a little bit wider, and turn the toes out about 45 degrees here. And then just stir some circles in your hips. Just start to stir some big circles in your hips. We'll start all together in one direction and then we'll eventually switch directions. So, could be helpful if you have a water bottle, or if you have like the traditional yoga blocks, you could grab those to create more space in your body. Good, so find a little bit of stillness. Good, from here, let's tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up, and then start to walk yourself to face the long end of your mat. So now all 10 toes face the long end of your mat. And we'll find a wide leg, sort of downward facing dog here. So start to walk your hands out in front of your body, and your heart is gonna bow down. And just breathing here. So it can feel really nice, even if you wanted to give your head a little shake. You know, kind of nodding your head yes, nodding your head no, allowing your head to be heavy. Okay, walk your palms back towards your feet, and we're gonna come to face the back end of our mat. So we're just gonna turn all the way around. Now the right toes are pointing up toward the back of your mat. Drop the back knee down. So now the left knee is down. And go ahead and set up in your low lunge once again. So sweep your fingertips high toward the ceiling. And then same thing here, finding that shoulder opening. So first, take a big breath, open your arms out really wide to the side. And then exhale, this time weave right arm underneath the left. Give yourself a hug, start there. If you're going on, lifting your arms up so that the backs of your arms come together to touch. And if you're going on still, wrapping all the way around, now the palms are touching. And same thing here, you can stay and breathe or find a little bit of movement. Good, just one more breath. On an inhale, open up the arms really wide, take a big breath in. And then exhale, both of the hands will come to plant to the inside of that right foot. You might want to heel toe that right foot out a little bit wider. And then same thing here, just start to stir those circles through the hips. So moving the hips around in a big circle. And just lingering, any areas that you feel a bit of tightness, linger there for a moment. And then move on when you're ready. And switch directions if you haven't already. All right, for the last couple of breaths, find a bit of stillness. So start to just lift your heart away from the hips. Come onto your fingertips here. We'll move on by tucking the toes, lifting the back knee. Again, walk all 10 toes to face the long end of your mat once again. And same thing here, just finding a little bow down. So this time you could take a direct forward fold, or you could come back to walking your hands out in front of your body. And wherever you are, we're just taking 3 deep breaths. Bend your knees a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. Come back up, so bring your palms back underneath your face. Good, and drop down to your knees. Drop down to your knees. And take a child's pose here. Okay, we're gonna move through a rabbit pose. So if you need to adjust the orientation on, if you're sideways on your mat, you could choose to orient yourself back into the center of your mat, facing the top of your mat if you like. So rabbit pose, we're going to basically lift the hips away from the heels. So if we start in a child's pose, reach around and grab a hold of your heels. Reach around and grab a hold of your heels. Okay, and then start to lift your hips away from your heels as you roll onto the crown of your head. Okay, so I'm just barely touching the crown of my head to the ground.
I'm really not resting a ton of weight there at all. Continue to kind of roll through the upper back. Let the shoulders drop down. And breathe here. We'll be here for a short time.
Just a couple more breaths.
Okay, to come out, you're going to lift your head away from the ground and slowly lower your hips back down. Come back to that child's pose. And then from here, make your way onto your belly. So go ahead and just kind of roll yourself forward onto your belly. Okay, from our belly, we're going to gaze over the right shoulder. Gaze over the right shoulder and just extend the right arm out to the side. So you're going to line up your index finger, the nail of your index finger with your gaze. Line up the nail of your index finger with your gaze. And then switch your gaze, so now you're gazing over the left shoulder. So the right cheek will come down, gazing over the left shoulder. And then start to press into your left palm, kind of rolling your body open. Rolling the body open. So now the left leg might bend. You can kind of plant that left foot behind the right leg if you like, or in front of the right leg. So you're just kind of pressing into the left palm, rolling open onto that right arm. And if you get there and you feel like there are some pinching sensations in the shoulders, just come out, kind of readjust where that right hand is. Move it up or move it down, and then come back into it. Okay. Slowly start to come out. So just rolling back onto your belly. Give a little wiggle through your hips. Just let your hips wiggle from side to side a couple times. And move into the opposite side. So gazing over your left shoulder to start. Again, find that point where your left index fingernail is lined up with your gaze. And then gaze over your right shoulder and press into your right palm, opening up, rolling onto the left side of your body. Again, you can bend that right knee, either plant the foot in front of your body or behind your body.
then slowly roll yourself out. Good. Again, from your belly, maybe find a little wiggle of your hips. We'll set up for just a couple rounds of Bhujangasana, or baby cobra. So bring your palms underneath your shoulders and draw your elbows up toward the ceiling. Nestle your shoulder blades deeply onto your back, so already you'll find a little bit of a lift through your heart. Press the tops of the feet into the mat, and then inhale, lengthen your heart forward. So you'll find a natural lift as you lengthen forward. And then exhale, lower down. Do that 2 more times. Inhaling, thinking about becoming as long as you can through your body. And then exhale, lower down. 1 more time like that. Good. From here, press into your palms, press into your knees, come up through a tabletop. And either come into a child's pose or just take a seat. And we'll set up for our next restorative posture. So actually I'll use a pillow because that's probably a little bit more accurate. Take your pillow, if you have a blanket, use this blanket. You can kind of prop your bedroom pillow up a little bit. So make like a little roll with your towel or your blanket, just to provide a little bit more height. And then just set that underneath your pillow. Even if you had another pillow to go underneath that pillow, just a little bit more height. And then set up, so you'll take 2 90-degree bends in your knees, okay? So start with your left hip kind of resting up against the base of the support you've created. And there's gonna be a 90-degree bend in that left knee. If you want less of a twist, you're gonna bring your knees almost together to stack, okay? If you're going deeper, you can kind of widen your knees apart so your legs are not overlapping at all. So take a moment to kind of get set up there. Okay, and then you're basically gonna frame your support with your hands and turn your heart to face that support, kind of lengthen out first. So create so much length through your body. Your heart is facing that support. And then we get to lay down. Okay, so the deepest option is to turn all the way so that your right cheek is resting down. Otherwise, just let your left cheek rest down. Take a big breath in, filling your lungs. And exhale, let it out. Begin to press yourself up and out of this position. We'll move to the other side from here. So you have a decision to make. You either move your props or you move your body. And make your way to your opposite side. So you're going to set up your props so that they're resting against your right hip or the opposite hip. And same thing here. Starting by turning your torso to face that support, lengthening out with a big breath in, and then just reclining down. So deeper opening. The left cheek will be resting down, a little bit lighter, the right cheek. take a big breath in and sigh, let it out. And starting to lift yourself up and out of this posture. And just make your way into a cross-legged position or any seated position that feels okay. Once you arrive there, just drop your chin down towards your chest. And then move your chin over top of your left shoulder. And then drop your right shoulder down. Make your right shoulder really heavy. So you can stay there if it's already quite enough, or you can let the right fingertips come down to the mat and maybe walk the right hand away from your right hip along your mat. So now maybe you can feel this all the way down from the right ear, all the way down the right arm into the fingertips. And remember to breathe. Good. Bring that right hand back in. Drop the chin down through the center of your chest and all the way over to the right shoulder. Drop the left shoulder down, make it really heavy. Starting there, if you're going on, bring the left hand down beside the left hip and walk the fingertips away from the left hip. Okay, come back through center. Make your way onto your back, so just move your pops off to the side for a moment and recline down onto your back. Give your knees a hug into your chest. And then just roll your knees around a little bit. So you're just massaging your low back, kind of rolling your knees in a circular motion. Good, and we'll move through a happy baby. So I'll set up in a kind of less intense variation to start. So drop your heels close to your pelvis and then let your knees fall out wide. So once you're in this position, then reach down through the inner line of your legs. So reach in between your thighs, grab a hold of your ankles, your shins, your knees, kind of whatever you can reach. And then just let the weight of your legs be totally supported by the strength of your arms. So you're just allowing your hips, your legs to be so heavy. Drop your shoulders down, kind of relax all of the muscles in your shoulders. Let the back of your head rest effortlessly into the ground. So let the back of your head sink down even more. Relaxing all of the muscles in your belly, in your chest, in your pelvis. if you'd like to move into a full happy baby, you can do that. Otherwise, you're welcome to just stay here. Okay, starting to come out. Drop the soles of your feet down to the mat. Take a bend through your knees. And we'll just set up for one more twist here. So press into your feet so that your hips lift away from the mat. Scoot your hips as far as you can to the left, and then set your hips back down. Bring your knees together, your toes together. Lift your feet away from the mat, and let both of your knees fall up and over to the right. And then from here, you can open your arms out into a T position. And maybe let your gaze kind of drift over your left palm. Bring your knees up through center, gaze up through center, and we'll switch sides. So just scooting your hips as far as you can to the right. Let both of your knees fall up and over to the left. And then I should have said on the first side, but I'll say it this time. If your knees feel unsupported, you can prop them up with blankets or pillows. So maybe in between your knees or underneath your knees if you need a little extra support. As you're ready, bringing everything back up through center. And I'm going to set you up in one last final position before Shavasana. This one's simple and easy. Take whatever you have, whether it's a couple blankets, a couple pillows, or even one pillow, and just slide it underneath your knees. And then you'll bring your heels together, toes together, let your knees fall out to either side. And then you can either let your palms rest on your belly, or with your palms facing the ceiling, they can kind of extend out to either side of your body. So from here, it's your choice if you'd like to stay here for the last couple minutes of practice. You can. Otherwise, if you would like to just extend your limbs out into like a traditional Shavasana, you can do that instead. So just finding Shavasana any way that you'd like. And start to deepen your breath. And from here, just starting to move again into your body. So starting slow, wiggling your fingertips and your toes. And as you find your natural kind of awake breathing rhythm, this movement will spread through your body. So you might start to bend into your elbows, your knees, your hips. Maybe taking one last final sort of good morning stretch as you reach your arms overhead and point your toes. Just gently and sweetly waking your body back up. Find yourself on your right hand side eventually. So taking a fetal position, you can use your bottom arm as a pillow. And then slowly make your way up to a seat on your mat. And try to keep your eyes closed if they are. And just one last final couple of breaths here. One last little moment to honor yourself, to kind of bow to yourself. Hey, thanks everybody.